I speak for most people when I say that the worst thing you can possibly do after seeing a really good movie is to see a really bad movie. And unfortunately, the next animated film that I had to sit through after seeing the rather solid Brave was Ice Age Continental Drift. Yes, this is the movie that many people see as the low point of 2012 animated features, and let me tell you folks, it's not hard to see why. If you were already tired with the franchise by the time the third movie came out, then this one certainly won't help the least bit. I know what you're thinking. What brilliant plot has this stale series brought us this time? Well, it starts with Scrat as he continues to chase after his beloved acorn. This time around, his antics cause the continents to drift apart, which results in other main characters Manny, Sid, Diego, and Sid's recently rediscovered grandmother being separated from the rest of the herd and drifting out into the open ocean. As the prehistoric pals try to make it back, they come across a gang of pirates who make their journey home even more difficult. Plot, but in reality, there's a lot more to the story. For example, Diego finds a love interest in the form of another saber-toothed tiger played by Jennifer Lopez. There's an army of small rodent-like creatures who are being forced into labor by the pirates and allied with the heroes to rebel against them. While all this is going on, Manny's now teenage daughter Peaches is dealing with another major crisis as she tries to fit in with a bunch of other teenage mammoths, which strains her friendship with a small hedgehog character. Oh god, the list goes on and on. And that's the movie's main problem. The plot is just a mess. The movie throws so many plot elements at us, and not once do they actually take the time to actually focus on any of them and develop them thoroughly. It appears that quality has been pushed aside in favor of quantity, and it doesn't work. When it comes to the characters, they do the exact same thing. First of all, the returning characters aren't given any major development or even made that entertaining. Manny has basically been reduced to the overprotective father stereotype. Sid has gone from mildly annoying to flat out annoying, and everyone else is no longer as enjoyable as they were in the previous films. As for the new characters, they aren't a whole lot better. Okay, to be fair, I do get a few laughs out of Sid's grandmother, and the elephant seal pirate is enjoyably idiotic, but apart from them, absolutely nothing good comes out of these new characters. Review when I talked about how much I hated casting celebrities just for the purpose of having a celebrity to advertise. Well, believe it or not, this movie does it even worse. If you watched the trailer to this movie, you may have noticed such names as Nicki Minaj and Drake appearing. Not only do both of the characters these two play have no personality or any real relevance to the story, but I don't even think they got very much dialogue at all. Drake's lines are pretty forgettable, and I can't even remember a word out of Nicki Minaj. To me, this is pandering to kids at its worst. It's bad enough that the characters are completely useless, but the people playing them are barely used at all. In a way, it's kind of like false advertising. Give the Lorax some credit, they at least gave Taylor Swift and every other celebrity in that movie a decent amount of dialogue. But I digress. If I had to point out any positive notes about this movie, I'd say the one element it has handled rather well is Scrat. He seems to be the most popular character of the franchise, and it seems that filmmakers have taken notice. The only real creativity that exists in this movie is that subplot featuring Scrat. The slapstick humor provided by this character is far more enjoyable than any other humor in this movie, and the finale is, I will admit, pretty funny. Heck, they even got Patrick Stewart to do a nice cameo. But sadly, Scrat is not enough to save this movie. As a whole, Ice Age Continental Drift is by far one of the year's weakest films. The story is uninspired, the characters, with the exception of Scrat, aren't the least bit engaging, even the animation isn't that impressive. While I do admit it is pretty good, it really doesn't provide anything that innovative, not even for the studio itself. So really, no major aspect of this movie that isn't Scrat related holds up very well. In fact, the Simpsons short film that played before the film in theaters is 100 times more entertaining. And when an 8-minute short has more charm than an 80-minute feature, you should know something's wrong. Bottom line, this is by far the weakest Ice Age film to date, and without a doubt, the weakest animated film of 2012. Hopefully people will finally be able to see the franchise is no longer fresh and stop seeing these movies. In fact, how much money did this make at the box office? Okay, that's not a horrible amount, but that's not a great one either. What about internationally? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Curse you, international film goers! Well, if the box office has anything to say about it, it looks like they're going to make another Ice Age movie. And unless it revolves entirely around Scrat, then I have no hope for it being any good. Not much else to say on this one, except if you're not a big Ice Age fan, then this is a film that I highly recommend that you skip.
Ray Romano, John Leguizamo, Dennis Leary, Nicki Minaj, Drake with Jennifer Lopez, and Queen Latifah.
Everyone, don't panic!
Getting home will be a trip for the ages.
No one's gonna stop me from getting back to my family.
Holy crap!
Ice Age Continental Drift.
You're pretty soft for a saber.
Excuse me, I happen to be a remorseless assassin.
Diego Poo! Hey, I made you another coral necklace. He keeps losing them.